Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Today we're going to make an alternative / new metal song in the style of Bring the Horizon, Violent Vira, Linkin Park, and somewhere in between. And before you hop into the comments and say this doesn't sound exactly like Linkin Park or like Bring the Horizon, in modern production we always take inspiration from this band, from that band, and kind of blend it together. And at the end, this is how music evolves, right? And a very big shout out to Solemn Tones. They sent me over the Odin 3 guitar and the Behemoth bass. And I use these instruments in the whole song. So if you don't have the guitar skills or you don't want to hire a session guitarist all the time, then these instruments are truly for you. I played with them for like 5 or 6 days now and they sound super realistic and I love working with them. I'm Caster, you're watching Synth Your Song, and let's hop into the session. So first I want to start with a little session overview. I have the arrangement up here, so verse, chorus, riff, verse, chorus, breakdown bridge, chorus, riff. It's kind of a standard arrangement. As for the drums, I'm always setting up Get Good drums. I have the dry and natural kit here and have the basic processing on it already. What I do is top-down mixing, so I have everything in a buzz. I start with that. I start with a vintage compressor, which takes just a couple of decibels here on the threshold, then the 4:1 ratio, relatively fast attack and slow release. After that, I have an equalizer, which boosts a lot of the subs and cut a lot of the below 30 hertz, and then I boosted some of the high mids and the highs just to get it very commercially bright. And after that I have a limiter, which doesn't do much. It takes about 1 decibel off. So it doesn't do very much, but it gives some loudness to it. And as for the individual processing, I basically send everything to a parallel channel. That is what I do in the beginning as well. And in the parallel channel, I either have a 1176 or Devil-Lock. I'm using that a lot lately because it makes your drums just so much bigger. And I believe the Zach Serini uses this as well, if I'm not mistaken. And I have it the same everywhere except for the room. The far, there is more of it because I just want the room of the drum sounds to be very, very big. And it sounds like this. And yeah, basically only the kick and the snare have a mix. Everything else is quite dry, quite natural, though I think at the toms I have a little bit of mixing in this plugin, in the Modern Massive library. And after that I have a set of samples, which is this. This kick gives a lot of sub frequencies. I have this cranked snare blend, snare attack, dry snare, and some room. And together they sound like this. I don't have any processing on it. I just mix it in. Okay, so this is the drum side that I have in every project, or almost in every project. From the guitar side, I mentioned it before, I use the Odin in this one. So yeah, basically this is the Odin. I will go into details regarding how to play with this plugin. Then I use the Misha Mansour amp. I'm currently trying this out, so I didn't buy it yet, but I'm really a big fan of how it sounds. And the post-processing, I will get into that later. For the bass, I have the Behemoth bass, also from Solemn Tones, which sounds great. I will also go into specifics later, but this is the bass that I will use from now on in every song. I'm convinced of that. And then for synthesizer, I always use, or almost always use Serum. Let's go into the first verse. What I started with was this reverse piano. And this plays basically just the root notes and reverse it. And in the second half of the verse, I wanted to have some kind of attack as well. And so I used a piano preset that I have from my nu metal producer pack. It's on the keys and it's the dark side. And together I thought it sounds kind of cool. So in the beginning you have this attack of the piano, and then you have a reverse piano coming as well. And then furthermore, I have the main melody of the whole song playing here with this plugin with Glaze. It's some sort of vocal chops, and it's from Native Instruments, I believe. It sounds like this. Basically what I did here was I have this automation, and I do that a lot. So it starts with a pretty thick high cut and then opens up throughout the verses into the chorus. So the track feels more alive. I really like having lots of automations going on that go kind of not necessarily linear towards the chorus. And this always gives some kind of excitement and life to it. So it has some extra movement. After that, I have some basic delay. And then I have this cool Pendle synth. Which is also from my Nu Metal Producer preset pack. And together the synthesizer sound like this. So after that, the main melody gets emphasized by the first guitar, by the lead guitar. And this is the Odin 3 that I used. And I will go into a breakdown of that plugin in another video. But this is just great. I will give you a rough overview. Pretty grungy nu metal style. I have the Misha Manzoor plugin on there, amp, the nu metal ambience preset, but I played a little bit with it. And there are a lot of cool things about this guitar plugin. So let's start with the main section. There is a humanize button. So the more you pull it up, the more it sounds like a human would play. The more it goes down at 0%, the more it is indeed programmed. And it kind of depends on which kind of music you want to make. If you have something that is very modern, very produced, then you of course want it to have more on the lower side. There are also other ways on how you can humanize it in this plugin. You will find that under the playing tab. So here you have this human noises. You have string, you have mute, and you have left hand. Those make certain noises, and they actually at Solemn Tones, they sampled those noises, which sounds super, super cool. It comes obviously with a default setting, and I played with it a little bit, and for this purpose, this sounded very well with some string noises and left hand noises. After that, I softened the attack, which you can also do here, so you don't need an extra plugin for that. And what is also very cool is here in the advanced tab, the sliding function. And you can use this when you have solos. So basically when two notes overlap, they slide. The lower you go, the longer it takes to slide to that note, and the higher you go, the faster it is. Also, and that is pretty cool, you can choose which kind of tuning. So you have this 6-string E standard, and this is enough for me for the solo. So basically it is played on a 6-string, and the chorus later, the rhythm is, I think I chose a 7 or 8-string there. And this changes the sound as well. So, and together with the synthesizer, it sounds like this. And as for effects, I just have these two risers. And I sometimes prefer melodic risers over non-tonal risers, simply because they have a little bit more life in it. and especially in a section that's quite atmospheric and melodic, I would say. As for the drum programming, I went to a little bit more of a Linkin Park style. So I have this kick, and I cut a lot of the low frequencies because I don't want the kick to be too big, because I want the chorus to explode when it comes in. Then I have this hip hop drums, and I have a lot of automation on that. We start with an EQ automation, so just a high cut comes in, and after that I have a vintage verb automation on the mix, so it starts in a big room and then it goes down, so it goes more in your face the later you go, as you can see here. And lastly, I have this bit crusher automation, which is the downsample and the overdrive, so it just gets this very gnarly sound. And lastly, I have this hat. It doesn't do much. And together it sounds like this. Awesome. I like this section a lot. It is very synthy, it is very moody. And now we actually come to the first chorus. And this is a section where I really wanted to go a little bit back with the synthesizer and emphasize the guitar play a little bit more. And let's start with the rhythm guitar. I used the Odin 3 for that. And as you can see, as I said before, I have another tuning. So it plays on the 8-string F sharp standard. And I found in this case, you can also have the string select in which position it plays. So I have it on the default position, which is position 3. And it has different sound to it. What I feel like in this position, it has this warm character to it. And it sounds like this. And with the programming, it's very cool. And as you can see, up here are the notes and down here are some key switches. And there is a very cool feature here in the Odin 3, and it's on the top right here. It's the key switch list. You can just toggle that on. And here are all the key switches, and that are all, as far as I understood, that are all different samples. And you can, for example, do slides here. You can do every kinds of playing, like down open, palm mute, or whatever you feel like. And you can really try out and look at what sounds the best. And the cool thing is you have so many options here. And that means that it's just getting more realistic. And also here's this knob, auto chord delay. So basically what it does is it delays the second and the third note that come after the first root note. So for example, here I have the C and the G. Either you do it manually, you take that one and you push it like this. Or for that, you can have this auto chord delay. And this is quite cool because no guitarist has 2 picks in his hand and plays 2 notes at the exact same time, right? This is what this is for. And I think it sounds super realistic. For this, I have the Misha Mansour amp as well. And after that, I have some sort of counter melody. And what I wanted to try with that is to really get some kind of Linkin Park character with it. Lastly, I have this lead guitar, which I also have in the verse, just 1 octave higher. It sounds like this. Then next we have the bass. And here I have the Behemoth bass, also from Solemn Tones. And this is basically following the rhythm in the same play style. So I have the muted notes here as well. And in this plugin, you also have this key switch list, and you can see the samples of the play styles here. And together with the rhythm, it sounds like this. So I think they fit a lot tonally. And also nice to mention is they have amplifier in here. And I feel like I don't really need an additional amplifier. I like this glass amp a lot. It sounds like this. And after that, in the synths, I don't really have a lot. The only thing that I have playing here is a guitar synth that I have from my new metal producer pack, Guitar Layer 2. It sounds like this. I just feel like it glues a little bit the bass and the guitars together, if that makes sense. I'll play it together with those elements and bypass it afterwards. I just feel like it gives it some more nice distortion and extra warmth to it. Then I only have a Pendle synth that is also from the new metal producer pack, and it's just for some extra movement. It doesn't really do a lot. So and after that we come to the riff section, and the riff section is quite cool because I was using Odin there as well. I did a lot more with the key switches. If I open up that, I have the key switch list, and if I would not have those key switches, it would sound like this. And that sounds not that good. But with those key switches, it sounds a lot more human. And there you can see like how many things you can actually do with that. For example, pinch harmonics, slides. I have a slide here. Then here's some pinch harmonics. Palm mutes. Together it sounds like a very, very cool riff. And the bass does the exact same thing here. And of course, I also have this guitar synth continue to play. And together the riff sounds like this. Cool, let's come into the second verse. And the main difference here is that it's basically the first verse, just thicker and a lot more movement. I added a clean guitar, which is the Odin, also the DI, and I humanized it a lot more in this case. Also with the human noises here, I softened the attack a lot, and I have this auto chord delay. It sounds like this. And the amp to that is the Misha Mansour clean vamps, Adam Bentley clean vamps. And I just wanted to bring in a lot more atmosphere into it. And as you can see, I mentioned it before, I have a second instance Behemoth bass here. In this case, I used the Classic Sounds amp. Has a way more classic amp sound, and it fits a lot more to those kind of sections, because I think if you have this distorted bass, it just takes so much and nothing else really has its space. With this kind of amp, you have this classic sound. The other elements in the song also have some space to breathe. And synth-wise, there's a lot more going on as well. From the first verse, we have all of this, as before. And then I added a bass, and it's the Smooth Reese from my new metal producer pack as well. It sounds like this. It's just a very low, big bass. And then I found 2 loops from Splice that I really liked. This and this kind of hyperpop. And I made some, I made Penman on it, so that there is a lot of movement. Together it sounds like this. And I also have automations on it so that the high cut opens up towards the chorus. Another difference is that I have guitar chugs coming in the second verse. And here I also have a automation, because if I take that automation out, it just takes over the verse. And if I have that on, it has a lot more space. And regarding effects, there are just some ear candies like this. And something melodic. Now let's come to the breakdown part. So let's isolate the rhythm guitar and let's listen to it. If we wouldn't have those key switches now, let's mute them. Sounds super unrealistic. And with those on, with some palm mutes every here and then, and this is not like a typical new metal riff. It's more like on the modern side, or maybe like a little bit more post-hardcore. But I think in the modern times, we can also very much combine genres. And the second thing that I have here is this lead guitar. It's also from the Odin 3, and it's basically just the same note. And as for effects, I have the Michel Mansour there. This amp, I did not change it, I believe. And after that, I have the Face Mistress from Sound Toys on it, just to give it a little bit width and depth and some movement. I think that sounds super cool. And as well, I have this synthesizer that just follows along. And the bass is the Behemoth bass. And it just follows along the rhythm guitar. Let's hear them together. And then we have a guitar synth doing the same thing as before. And that is basically it. There is only one impact to give it some more emphasis, but apart from that, that's it. Here we got the bridge. What I wanted to do with the bridge is, after the breakdown, to really calm down, still being connected to the verses, but also have its own character. And from the synths, I have the exact same as in the verses. Also with their automations, I have this right here that I put on top, and it is basically also just a guitar note. But the cool thing here is the processing. I have this pure crunch from Dai, the preset, and changed it quite a bit so it has some extra glitch. It sounds like this. And then I have an equalization automation. So it opens up towards the chorus. And after that I have Pan Man, because as you know by now, I really like movement and width. And it sounds like this. And I also have this guitar. And one last thing, the coolest thing in my opinion about the bridge, is that on the master I put on kickstart, and only in the bridge is it activated. As you can see in the chorus, it's bypassed, in the breakdown it's bypassed, and in every other section it's bypassed. Only in the bridge it is activated. It's not on 100%, it's on 45%, and it is very controlled. And that's basically the whole production. So let's have a final listen through. Big shout out to Solemn Tones for sending me over the Odin 3 and the Behemoth bass. If you're a producer and you don't have a guitar at hand, or maybe you're just bad at guitars, then this is definitely a good option for you. I will link them down in the description, and those tones are really awesome. If you want a more detailed video about that, write it down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kessler from Synth Your Song, and happy producing.